Hey guys, this is Brett from REVrides.
And this is Tyler.
Today we're going to be taking the 10X off-road. We put on some of the off-road tires that we have available.
So we're out at the mountain bike park today. We're going to be going on some pretty novice trails and seeing how the 10X does. These are all designed for mountain bikes. I'm anticipating that we're probably going to push it to its limits just because we're on a 10-inch tire versus a mountain bike tire. So we'll see how it does today.
Installing these guys wasn't too hard. How long do you think it took?
It took me about 45 minutes to do both of them, and it did take 2 people just because the tire is so wide. You actually have to really compress the tire and squeeze the rim together to get the bolts threaded in. But it wasn't too bad, and then we were able to use the stock 10 by 2.5 inch inner tubes that come with the 10X, so no aftermarket tube needed, so that's kind of nice.
Cool, yeah. All right, so we're just gonna take this thing out. We're gonna ride it for a little while. We have some talking points that we'll discuss. We got some cool cameras here. We got a 360 camera, we got a GoPro, we got a drone tucked away over there, so we're gonna have some awesome footage, just kind of showcasing what this thing can do. Let's get to it. All right guys, we just got done at the BMX track. We had a lot of fun just kind of cruising around on this thing. I didn't ride it much, but Tyler was on it like 95% of the time. So all that footage you just saw was Tyler shredding it up. I was behind the camera though, I'll give myself credit for that.
I think we definitely pushed this to its limit. I get to go back to the shop and see if I actually broke anything, but it held up pretty good. We made it all the way through the day without any flats or breakages of any sort. I did notice the front stem was starting to get a little bit loose, but I was beating on it pretty hard, so we'll see what that is. The tires did really good. In gravel, I noticed a big improvement over the stock tire. I did have to run to town and back on the pavement, and they were a little scary on the pavement, definitely really loud. And they just didn't feel as confident as the standard tire on the pavement, but off-road they were a huge improvement. Cornering felt really good. I was able to hit the berms a lot better than I thought I was going to. It handled the jumps pretty well, definitely not as good as my mountain bike would. I got some pretty good airtime on a couple of those, and I also crashed a couple times getting some pretty good airtime, which you see in the footage. Overall, it did pretty good. I think that it could use a little bit firmer shock. So I'd like to try an air shock with it, maybe something with a little bit better dampening. Power was good. I didn't really ever feel like I needed more power. I was actually off the power a lot.
So one thing, did you mention anything about the gravel performance? Because that was something I thought I just was really interested in how I was gonna perform on gravel.
Yeah, it did really good on the gravel. It definitely threw a lot of gravel. I had to, weight transfer was a really big difference being off-road. Normally I would lean, you know, back a lot of the time, and I had to put a lot more weight on that front tire to keep it from squirreling out. Coming downhill on the gravel, the braking was really, really confident. I was surprised. There were a couple spots that would have even sketched me out a little bit on a mountain bike that it just came down, and braking was really solid. So like overall, as far as the 10X off-road versus, you know, it's still only a 10-inch tire, so it's not really going to compete with a mountain bike. I was able to do all of the trails. It wasn't as glamorous as a mountain bike. So I don't really think that this is going to be something that like replaces your electric mountain bike, unless you're interested in, like, you're a sportsman that wants to go up and down gravel roads, or explore, you know, logging roads, things like that. I think this would be a really good option as an all-out BMX solution. I think there's still a little bit of ways to go, and again, tire size on a scooter is just everything.
All right, guys, that concludes our video for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully that was informative if any of you guys are considering the off-road tires. If you have any more questions that were answered in this video, drop a comment below. And as always, if you like the content, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to put out new videos once a week at minimum. We're so far keeping up with that the last couple weeks. But yeah, have a good one.